Okay, today we are going to talk Nepenthes. Fantastic plants, absolutely love them, wish I had more. I don't have a massive collection, I only have roughly about 10 different plants. And this year, for the first time in over 5 years, I actually put my all Highland Nepenthes outside for the summer. So let's talk about that, how it went, and whether I would do that again. Okay, I'll turn you around, let's get started. And we are in. So I did have all my Nepenthes hung up in the greenhouse. Now, since I have repotted them all, again, first time in several years, I believe you should really repot them every couple of years. Why? Well, if you've got them in anything like moss, or if your mix contains quite a lot of moss, then it does break down. It makes the medium more acidic, which causes them a problem. Now, I have traditionally used sphagnum moss in the past. This time I have mixed it in with various things, some large chunky bark, some perlite, that kind of thing, just to bulk it out a bit, to give them something else that's different to moss. Nepenthes are really forgiving in what they grow in. You very often find, especially in the UK, when you send off for new plants, that they come in peat moss. Don't think peat moss isn't actually moss. Peat moss just looks like peat. I don't know whether they've managed to cross them over into something that doesn't have peat in it, because obviously that's a sensitive issue at the moment. But Nepenthes are very forgiving. They're not like other carnivorous plants in that respect. If you're planting something like a Drosera, a sundew, then it is going to need peat moss, as far as I know. Whereas Nepenthes, I've got some, or I did have some growing in all sorts of things, and I've had them growing very successfully for several years. So let's get to the point of the video. So the point of the video is it worth sticking them outside if you live in a situation like I do? So while we discuss that, we'll just look at some of them. Looked at this on one of my other videos. So this one is Nepenthes, what is it, Burkii. Very popular one. I don't have many. I don't have, really fancy ones. I don't think I have any pure species. So this one's Gaia. These are the ones that tend to picture the most for me, to be honest. This one's done really well. It's got loads of pictures on it from being outside. Not all of them are as good. That one's not even popped, so that's good. We've got some burnt leaves, and we've got some nice shiny new young leaves, and that tends to be what you'll find, certainly in my environment. It's been a hot summer for us in the north of the UK. This one over here doesn't have anything on it, not done quite as well, but you can see, what's that one, Ventrata, it does have some new growth on it. That's a new one. That's not just like recently come. I only potted them about 3 days ago. So anything that you can see is as a result of them being outside. These are one of my oldest ones. This one is Rebecca Soper, quite a large one, not done quite as well. Another one over here. That's a nice picture on that one. That's, what's that one? Ventrata, Ventricosa. Again, a very popular one. That one is the Rebecca Soper. Sorry for the flashing light there. You won't be able to see if I turn it off, so I'll leave it on. It's kind of putting vegetative growth on. It's starting to vine. No pictures on it. I can't see any basil shoots either. Moving on over here, we have, this one is Gaia. Kind of mishappen picture there. It's not fully opened. That one looks quite new. They have caught food. So let's go through what I was talking about. So was it worth it? Well, initially I put them out all in one go, probably about May time, and I didn't do what I should have done, which was harden them off. Any good gardener knows that what you should do, if you're going to take any plant from a nice costed environment like in here, and then go and put it outside to the elements, especially in the UK, then it's going to get buffeted, and it's going to knock it back for several months, and that's what happened. It knocked them all back. And at one point, certainly in June, probably most of July as well, they didn't have any pictures on them at all. None of them did. So that was the first learning. If you are going to do it, then make sure that you harden them off first. Why did I not do it? Just time, purely time. I didn't have time to keep putting them all back in at night, taking them all out during the day, leaving them out for a certain number of hours, increasing that number of hours. It would have helped just simply putting them in at night time and doing that for about a week. But again, you know, I'm too tired when I come home from work to do that. So I put them all out and they suffered for it. The only reason I put them out actually is because I didn't have to feed them and I wouldn't have to water them as much, because I just didn't have enough time to do things in the greenhouse. So that's one of the things that's worth thinking about. Definitely harden them off. I'm just looking to see if there are any more. I've got this one down here is Loei. Now that's normally pictures all over the place for me. It's not Loei, it's Loei crossed with the Ventricosa. That's not pictured, and I'll tell you why. So the second thing that happened was, because I'm under great big sycamore trees, at a certain point every year we get absolutely inundated with aphids, and they were everywhere and they were all dropping on top of my Nepenthes. And despite what you might think, that Nepenthes, because they catch insects, that doesn't stop them, especially the new growth, from getting covered in greenfly. Greenfly aphids will suck the sap of Nepenthes. It's kind of like an insect's revenge, isn't it? So that was the next thing that knocked them back, and that went on for about a month. Eventually, what happens with the trees, the sycamore trees, I don't believe you call them sycamore trees. I think they're a form of Acer. I think we're wrong in that. But anyway, these trees, the leaves do get tough over time, and obviously you build up when you've got such a concentration of one particular pest. Then the ladybirds come out, the ladybird larvae and so on, and eventually all the greenfly go. But it's not for, you know, it's a good month, good 4 weeks for that to happen. So eventually that happened, I sprayed them all, so that knocked them back. So that was two things. Maybe I should have waited until after greenfly season before I put them out. So they're the negatives. What about the positives? Oh, one more negative is that it was very sunny. And even though they like sun, that direct sun from where they weren't really sheltered, they were out in the open. They didn't get sun for like 8 hours a day, it was only for a few hours a day, but it seemed to be enough to knock them back again. And for them to get, you know, the red leaves. And I don't mind the red leaves, and I believe they still work well for the plant, but they didn't picture for whatever reason. Now I can imagine, again, this is me just talking through thoughts, I might be completely wrong here, but I can imagine they get to a point where they've no food coming in because they've no pictures, and then maybe they've no energy to create pictures. I don't know, but maybe they've no energy to create pictures. So I did actually give them a spray of some orchid feed, which again you can do. They will take feed in through their leaves. It's got to be a dilute orchid feed, don't make it too strong. And maybe that was enough to kick them into growth again and kick them into getting the pictures. I actually think the main reason was it was just the right conditions. As the heat of the sun, as the summer's progressed, it's a little bit lower in the sky, not quite as hot, and it's the right temperatures for them. I think that's probably the biggest factor. Environmental factors always seem to be more of an issue for me. Like looking around the greenhouse now, and you can see how lush everything looks, and if I tell you that I rarely feed, like this orchid hasn't been fed for well over 12 months and it's in full bloom. Now with these things you can't prove a negative, can you? I can't say what they would look like if I had fed them all. They might look 10 times better, who knows? You know, this one's going to flower. They do get rainwater as well, and the rainwater, certainly off my garage, does have stuff in it, so maybe that's giving them enough of a feed. But more often than not this year I've just put the hose pipe on them from the tap. And I've recently bought a pump for my water butts, so I can actually use the water butt water through the hose pipe, which should make things a bit easier, because watering everything in here by hand, by a little watering can is quite time restrictive. So anyway, that's another matter. So that's my thoughts and my experience with putting the Nepenthes out. Would I do it again? I think I would, actually. I think it was nice to see them all lined up there. Maybe I think definitely the hardening off would be a good point to keep in mind, and definitely if you are near big trees like me and you do have like an aphid season, make sure that that's gone past or it's near the end before you put them out. And I think they would probably benefit from it then, because all of these pictures, I mean obviously I've repotted these, this is why they're full of the pictures are full of all sorts of bits and bobs. It's all the sphagnum moss, but when you look inside them, they all have little creatures in that they've caught. So you know that can only be a good thing, because being in a greenhouse like this, yes, I can feed them manually, I can feed them with a foliar feed, with orchid feed, I can put fish flakes in the little pitchers, and that's not as easy as it might sound. Actually, it's quite tricky, and most of them kind of fall down the side unless you've got massive pitchers that you can easily fit something in. So yeah, that's my experience. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you managed to get yours out. I can imagine if you live in a hot country, then obviously it's not going to be as much of a problem. And definitely if you live somewhere that you don't have these pests, maybe you have different pests that attack Nepenthes. Tell me what that is. I'm always interested to hear about these things and other people's experiences, because I know my experiences are very much of my environment. So let's see what you think about it. Slugs could get at these, but slugs don't seem to have bothered them, probably because even the new young leaves are quite tough. So finally we found something that slugs and snails don't like. Yeah, so that's it. That's my Nepenthes experiences. Tell me what you think, and for now I'll see you on the next one. Bye.